Busy schedule? Timing issues? Don't know what to cook tonight? Holla at Chef Red. Services include meal prep, catering, personal chef duties, full-course meals, as well as alternative vegan options. Desserts are stellar. I recommend the banana pudding. Delivery is available for qualifying orders. Contact her on Instagram at Chef Redfern. Tell her Jay Daniel sent you.
Hey guys, it's Charlie Box, and you're listening to Jay Daniel on Moonbeam Radio.
What's going on, everybody? This is Director Jamal Hall. You're tuning in to Moonbeam Radio with Jay Daniel.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's your boy Shamari Reeve, the producer of Lit the Movie, and we now rocking with Moonbeam Radio, the hottest radio station. Hey, Jay Daniels, I see you, my boy.
Moonbeam launching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Moonbeam Radio. I am your host, Jay Daniel. This is episode S318. Thank you for your time and attention. Your ear gates, eye gates, and heart gate, you are appreciated. Now, if you're new to the show, welcome. And if you're a longtime supporter, welcome back. Now, this week we'll discuss the Igbo landing, Governor Nomo, Equality Act, stimulus woes, start over, lift off, and the FDA and chicken. We gonna talk and laugh, maybe cry, but we will learn together with love. It's Jay Daniel, Moonbeam Radio. This portion of our broadcast is brought to you in part by June Moon Media Group, custom DJ services including personalized mixes and virtual hostings for all occasions. Pricing deals going on now. For all inquiries, email us at junemoonmediagroup@gmail.com. So you can follow me on Instagram at Moonbeam Radio, also on Facebook at Jay Daniel. That's Jay Daniel. And for all your streetwear, apparel, and sneakers, check out the homie, Get Money Kicks on GMK_Young Bolo on Instagram. Now, I've been a little aggravated. Been going back and forth. I'm having this issue with my bank, right? I've been a victim of, I guess you would call it fraud, identity theft. I don't know. But my bank is giving me a hard time about it, and I'm upset. So apparently, someone has gotten a hold of my credentials or whatever you want to say. And let me chill, right? I'm gonna give it to you. So someone has gotten a hold of my credentials and decide to go to the coachoutlet.com and charge $1,400 worth of merchandise, right? I didn't do it. Now, the bank has been giving me an issue about it because you got to do a claim. So I do the claim. And then they tell me it's going to be, 7 to 10 business days. I said, okay, that's a long time, but okay. I call back a week later to find out, what's the status of it. Well, what claim? So that means no claim was filed. So the gentleman asked me, well, what happened? I believe his name was Chuck. I said, Chuck, I'll tell you what happened. Nothing. It wasn't filed. That's what happened. So I've been going back and forth with him. So apparently it's been filed now. So we'll see. But can you trust anything? Then I find out, was it a debit card? Was it the account? Was it the ACH issue? And they won't tell me. So, well, how would I know any of that? So I don't know if anybody else has gone through this. It's the first time for me. But it's got me upset. And I just wanted to share that with you. But when your hands are tied and there's nothing that you can do, you've done all that you can on your end, and you're waiting on someone else to do their part, and they're kicking responsibility back to you. It's not just with this bank. It's happened in my life. I'm sure you too. Responsibility, accountability seems like an ongoing theme on the planet that we all are running from. No, take it. You was bold enough to do it, bold enough to say it. Own it. It ain't just for the good, it's all of it. You want to be the man at work? You want to be the big baller shot caller? Well, when the house of cards, the dominoes fall, it falls on you too. I just wanted to get that out. I feel a little better. A little bit. Un poquito, right? Source here is blackpast.org. So the Igbo landing is a historic site at Dunbar Creek on St. Simons Island. Have you heard of it? Now, this is in Glenn County, Georgia. So in 1803, one of the largest mass suicides of enslaved people took place when the Igbo captives from Nigeria were taken to the Georgia coast, right? So in May of 1803, the Igbo and other West African captives arrived in Savannah, good old Savannah, Georgia, on a slave ship called the Wanderer. Now, they were purchased for an average of $100 each by slave merchants. Remember this name, John Cooper, that is Couper, Cooper and Thomas Spalding, to be resold to the plantations nearby St. Simons Island. Now, the chained slaves were packed under the deck of the coastal vessel, the York, which would take them to St. Simons during the voyage. Now, approximately 75 Igbo slaves rose up in rebellion, took control of the ship, and drowned the captors, right? And in the process, they caused the grounding of the ship in the Dunbar Creek. Now, the Igbo marched ashore singing, and they're led by their high chief. Now, it gets interesting here. At his direction, they all walked into the waters, the marshy, murky waters of the Dunbar Creek, committing mass suicide. Now, this gentleman here, Roswell King, a white overseer on the nearby Pierce Butler plantation, wrote the first account of the incident. He and other men recovered many of the drowned bodies. Apparently, only 13 bodies were recovered. Others remained missing, and some may have survived the suicide attempt, right? Making the actual numbers of the deaths uncertain. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, Jay, why are you telling us about the Igbo? I'm telling you this because, Well, first off, have you heard of this before? Probably not. I'm telling you this. We're talking about this tonight because it's March, right? Black history, blackness, the story of melanated people doesn't just end in February. I'm black 9 days a week, 32 hours a day. You get what I'm saying to you? We're going to continue to give factual history if it hasn't been buried or changed, watered down and diluted so much that you can't, sift through it. But I'm going to continue to do this. That's a challenge to myself, from myself to myself. And you're along for the ride. But the goal of this podcast, this show, this program is to inform, and we learn together and love together. And you come out better afterwards. You learn something, you feel a different way, your perspective is understood, you understand others. But we are able to be better people as a whole, as a collective, if you're more informed. Source here is the nypost.com. That's the New York Post.com and CNN.com. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, or should I say Governor Nomo. We have to talk about it. Have you seen this guy on TV this week? Have you heard the news? Fudging numbers for nursing home COVID deaths. And now 3 women have come forward as sexual assault accusers. Wedding reception photos of Cuomo touching a woman's face. You got lunch footage involving a reporter and sausage. Homie, it's looking bad out here in these streets for you. And I don't feel bad for you. Not at all. Governor Nomo. There's a song called The Masquerade is Over. I'm afraid the masquerade is over for you, Governor Nomo. Now, I get it. Without formal charges and a trial or conviction, we shouldn't condemn him. I get it. But I have to say, why aren't there any formal charges? Why are these women going to ABC and these news outlets and social media, Twitter, to air him out? Because the feds are on his tail for these COVID fudge numbers, right? Now, the account with this reporter, I don't know if you've seen the footage, watched the video, but I have. She didn't seem that much uncomfortable with him. If you haven't seen it, I'll explain it to you. They're at some kind of function, like I'm believing it's lunch. Cuomo's there with his daughter, and around the table are some constituents of his office or whatever, some employees, right? This reporter comes up, and I guess there was a world-renowned, citywide, I don't know, famous sausage, right, sandwich. And he's telling her that if you have this sausage, you got to eat it all in front of him. She's laughing and giggling with him. She gets the sausage, comes down, sits next to him, takes a few bites, wants to take a selfie with him with the sausage in the picture, and he makes this comment saying, it's too much sausage in this photo. Homie, are you aware what's coming out of your mouth? He's a public figure, a man and a public figure. But he got no better than that. Now, she didn't seem uncomfortable. She was right there. Now, the woman in the photo at the wedding reception, yeah, that picture of him touching her face, homie, you know what you're doing, man. And what gets me about this is the only reason why we know is because of camera phones, right? And Twitter. But again, these people, these women, why no charges? Go to the police. If he did, like, this is all, like, if he did it, which it looks like he did, right? Go to the authorities and lock him up. Have him accosted. And put that on live TV. Governor Nomo. It wasn't bad enough he was fudging numbers for COVID deaths, right? And freestyling on the mic with mandates and policies that were fudged also. You ain't gonna run from this. They've had people rally outside his office screaming, he got to resign. Get him out. Now, he has had a press conference this week lightly addressing this. Did you see it? I did. I watched it. I was upset I didn't have popcorn. But in the address, he says that he didn't know what he was doing at the time was offensive. It sounds good. But when you break it down, when you see that picture of him touching that girl's face, her face told you doing something wrong, homie. But he feels he didn't do anything wrong. But he's sorry anyway. Well, if you didn't feel like you're doing anything wrong, what you sorry for? And then he says, to cap it all off, he says, please reserve judgment until the formal investigative report is completed. Now, that's funny that you say that, Andrew Cuomo, Governor Andrew Cuomo, because you didn't give Donald Trump that that leeway. You wanted to throw the book at him, right? What's the dude that's coming for his job? Is that the mayor job, or is Yang, the Lang, the Asian guy? And you bullied him on the phone saying you could end his career? No. You ain't getting a pass on this one, homie. You've done too much. And the New York board is meeting to strip him of all his pandemic, his pandemic privileges. The executive orders and all of this absolute power that he's had. Yeah, the run's over, homie. Andrew Cuomo, you've been dimed out by your staff and camera phones. On behalf of the COVID deaths, victims, the families, the victims themselves, all the people you hurt, the women that have come forward and the women that have not yet said anything. On behalf of the people, we need you to hold this. Source here is abcnewsgo.com. Now, folks, if you didn't know, there's a beef brewing in Congress involving Illinois Representative Marie Newman and Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. What are they upset about? What's happening? This clash is over the Equality Act. Now, the Equality Act is a bill that the House of Representatives will vote on that seeks to ban discrimination against the LGBTQ community. Now, Newman has a transgender daughter named Evie. Now, this bill would offer protections for transgender people. So this is what she had to say regarding it. She says, my own daughter, who years ago bravely came out to her parents as transgender. I know from that day on, my daughter would be living in a nation where in most of its states, she would be discriminated against merely because of who she is. This is what Newman said. Now, Greene tried to block the bill's movement through the chamber, claiming it would force her daughter to compete in sports and share locker rooms with biological men. Ooh, heating up. So let me give you some the layout of this, where these two women work. So they have offices directly across the hall from each other, right? So Greene busts up the stakes, she raises them, hangs a sign outside her office, and it says, there are two genders, male and female, trust the science. Newman's response was to hang the transgender flag outside of her office. So what we have here is a classic case of hallway banging. Now, on social media, it's all a buzz and people are dropping their sense in, saying how they feel about the situation. And they asked me, Jay, Mr. Moonbeam, what you think about this? And I don't say nothing. I act like I don't. I'm going to give it to you tonight. LGBTQ community. I got zero issue with you wanting to have rights, you wanting to live a carefree life without discrimination. No problem with that. I'm okay with that. I agree with that. I have an issue with this transgender piece. My issue is not that you're transgender, you identify as something else. You're born one way, but you identify with something else. No problem with that. I feel, and I want to be respectful and sensitive to it, but I also have to give you my perspective. There are two genders. That's a whole fact. You're either, in terms of transgender, you're born a man, wanting to become a woman, transition to a woman, or you are born a woman, transitioning to a man. Fine. How long you going to transition, though? Be transitioning in the process of becoming the other. Shouldn't there be a devoted time frame on that? Just how my brain works. because people be transgender for 30 years. No. See, that's an issue. Commitment. Commit to it. That's all I'm asking. That's all a lot of people are asking. That would make it fair and move forward. Because you have all these civil rights cases going on regarding LGBTQ community. You got black people that have been in this country and been black the whole time. It wasn't mainstream or widely exposed and pushed about being gay until, remember the 90s with Madonna and Vogue, right? Paris is burning. That happened. That's how it went. And then they had to fight for their rights, gays and lesbians, right? They had to fight for that. Meanwhile, black people still fighting. We still getting hung. I don't see any transgender being hung and burned, right? But then now this T business, this transgender. No, you're one or the other. While you're transitioning, you are still one. You're still one of them, one of the genders. So I got an issue with my children using the bathroom, thinking that, like my daughter thinking that that's a girl when it's a transitioning man, right? I got an issue with that. And it's okay for me to have an issue with that. Because it has nothing to do with you choosing to transition. No, go ahead. But I think that it's too wide open. It needs to have some parameters, and then we move it further along in our culture, in our world. It will help us to coexist amongst each other and in unity. And you may not know, but there is a growing community inside of the trans world that of people that have transgendered over to the opposite, whatever they were identifying with, taking the hormones and going through the whole process, sometimes surgery, reassignment, right? Only to realize that ain't for them. So now they're trying to change back. It's a real thing. And it doesn't get enough spotlight, doesn't get enough shine. We don't talk about it. It's like, ooh, taboo. No. It's happening. Let's get into it, and so we can all understand and come to a place of agreement. But nonetheless, it's reached the Senate. It's on Capitol Lion Hill. They hallway banging. I can't wait to see what happens on Monday, right? I'm gonna put this sign up. Well, I'm gonna put this flag up. Well, I'm gonna put, and then I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna, high school. Deal with it on the Senate floor. The two of them need to just have lunch and just cut it out, but they're closed-minded. We can't be like that. We need to have parameters in life, especially in society, that we're just too wide open. Goes on much longer, you won't be able to close it, the gaps. Source here is vox.com. The Senate just approved a $1.9 trillion stimulus package by a vote of 50 to 49. That was today. Now, this clears the way for its final passage through the House early next week. Now, of course, you got President Joe Biden. He's got to sign that into law if it makes it through next week. So what does this mean? This stimulus package, this hefty price tag package? It means a third round of direct cash payments will soon be on the way. But there are some differences from the previous stimulus bill. We got to go through them. So instead of $600 that was sent out in December, individuals will receive as much as $1,400. Now, this is all depending on their income. However, the income threshold to receive a check will also be stricter this time. So what those changes mean, you ask? It means that about 17 million fewer people will receive a third round of stimulus checks than would have under the House-passed version of the bill, according to the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. Boil it down, render it. What does that mean? Still, 280 million people will still be eligible, right? Eligibility for the $1,400 checks may be based on either the 2019 or 2020 tax return, whichever is the most recent income information. Now, a little breakdown here. Adults who earn $75,000 or less in their most recent tax year will receive the full $1,400. As married couples who earned $150,000 or less, and heads of household who earned $112,500 or less, right? $112,500 or less. Adults who earn more than $75,000 but less than $80,000. Married couples who earn more than $150,000 but less than $160,000, right? These were people that will be eligible for a reduced payment. Now, this is a bit of good news for some, a bit of sad news for others. I don't understand what is taking so long to help the people that fuel your economy. Not Shake Shack, because you gave them money. The Los Angeles Lakers, you gave them money, right? You always seem to forget about the quote unquote little guy, which ain't so little because those are the people that run the country economically. The people that work, put in that pain. Unemployment is at an all-time high. They don't talk about it like they used to. You just had a couple weeks ago, what was it? Kroger's closing because they can't pay the $5. They don't want to pay the $5. The hazard pay, they didn't want to do it. So you got more and more people unemployed. And the last time you gave some relief help was December, but that wasn't really real. Because there's grumblings that you have to pay some of that money back when you do your taxes. For a whole year, the government hasn't helped you. Oh, it's too much money. It's monopoly money anyway. The people need it. No, but these Fortune 500 companies and this PPP loans, which got loopholes in them that they don't have to pay that money back, it ain't right. People on food lines. Then in Texas, you got the whole power grid issue. Folks need help. They need relief. And we're still waiting. People are still waiting. The country is still on hold, on pause. Meanwhile, PSE&G still want their money. Georgia Power still wants their money. Con Edison still wants the money. When you have to make life decisions that you shouldn't have to. Like, there was a time in my life where I had to decide whether I wanted to eat lunch or dinner, eat a meal, or put gas in my car, or at that time I was smoking cigarettes, or buy cigarettes. Shouldn't have to make how you make those decisions. I got to get to work, but I need to eat too. Well, that's where we are with people, except even if they choose to buy food, food is scarce also. And $1,400? That's the best you could come up with? How much of that money in that $1.9 trillion is going to the military? Biden, you want the job? You got the job. Harris, you wanted the job? You got the job? This is the time to put up. And you need to be putting up more than $1,400. People need relief. It's hard out here and it's hurting. Meanwhile, people are still dying. And they're not all dying because of COVID. They're dying because of hungry. Foreclosure. But nonetheless, $1,400, if you qualify, is on the way. If they see that you should get it. Source here is foxbaltimore.com. Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts in West Baltimore, right? Hundreds of students there are failing. There's one student in particular whose story is so unbelievable, we have to discuss it. Now, he has passed 3 classes in 4 years. I'm going to say that again. High school student, passed 3 classes in 4 years. Here's the turn here. Ranks near the top half of his class with a 0.13 grade point average. Yes. No. But it is so. Now, Tiffany France is his mother. Now, she thought that her son would be graduating in June. Nope, won't be happening. She just learned that her 17-year-old must start over. He's been moved back to the 9th grade. Yeah. How? Why is this happening? Well, his transcripts show he's passed just 3 classes in 4 years. Now, this earns him 2.5 credits. Well, according to the metrics and the analytics, he got to go back to the 9th grade. Now, his mom says that she didn't know that until February. She has 3 children and works 3 jobs. She thought her oldest son was doing well because even though he failed most of his classes, he was being promoted. His transcripts show he's failed Spanish 1 and Algebra 1, but was promoted to Spanish 2 and Algebra 2. He also failed English 2 and passed on to English 3. Here's a side note. If you speak English, you speak that language, shouldn't you pass it? Just a question. Now, as we take a deeper look into the records, the first 3 years he failed 22 classes and was late or absent 272 days. But in those 3 years, only one teacher requested a parent conference. which, of course, Ms. France says never happened. She's blaming this on the school. No, Ms. France. Where were you? And I get it. Oh, I have 3 children and I work 3 jobs. Okay. You don't read the mail? Did you ever ask him to bring his report card to you? Progress reports? The marking period thing? No. This ain't all the school's fault. She says that no one from the school told her that her son was failing and not going to class. Okay. So she has now pulled her son out of Augusta Fells, and he's now enrolled in an accelerated school program at Francis M. Wood in West Baltimore. Now, if he works hard, he can still graduate, but by 2023. Now, it's the 3 involved that are the problem here. The child, the 17-year-old, lazy. Don't want to go to school, it doesn't seem like he applied himself at all. He didn't ask for help. He didn't talk to nobody about nothing. Mama, you're chasing work. That's what you're blaming it on. But no, you just think, okay, he's the oldest. I ain't got to worry about him. You failed him too. And the school failed him as well, pushing him along. And you know, these parents, if the school would have kept him in 9th grade for 4 years, she'd went to the school and turned up. 3 here are culpable. But the good part here is that he can still graduate, but he's going to have to work hard because he's now in an accelerated program and he can graduate by 2023. But if he could not survive in a normal setting environment in school, and now you're going to place him in an accelerated program? See, it sounds good, but we have to know, she know what who her child is, what kind of child she has. Sounds like mama capping. But you still want to place blame on the school. Anybody but yourself. The 3 parties here have failed. The school system, parent, and the student, the 17-year-old. But I do hope that he takes this time seriously and applies himself so that he can know what he's made of, who he is, because he's going to be an adult very soon. And you should learn these things before you become an adult. Set yourself up for failure or success right now. Source here is abcnews.com. So you have Texas, Mississippi, Iowa, Montana, and North Dakota have lifted mask restrictions. Now they're joining 11 other states that never required face coverings statewide. That would be Alaska, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, and Tennessee. So it's not just Texas, but Texas is getting the brunt of it right now. We'll get into it. Now, Texas and Mississippi have announced this on Tuesday that, they'd be shortly ending mask requirements and allowing businesses to operate at full capacity. How do you feel about this? You think this is a good move? You think this is safe? Do you think this is dangerous? No comment. No judgment. We're just talking. Oh, and let me say this. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Give me the thumbs up or thumbs down. It helps out the algorithms to push and promote and suggest Moonbeam Radio to new viewers and to you, the returning viewers. I appreciate it and thank you. Oh, and hit that notification bell also so you don't miss, because I've been posting and we getting active. Now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott says that Texans no longer need government running our lives, right? You're making that hard line in the sand. But you have President Joe Biden called Texans, that move that Texans are doing, Neanderthal thinking. Now, the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, encourages the public to continue wearing masks. Cases in the country are leveling off at a rate just on the cusp of potential resurge. That was CDC Director Rochelle Walensky. She said this on Wednesday about reopenings. Now, all of those states that I named, Texas and Mississippi are just the ones that have just recently joined them. But Alaska and all of them didn't have mask mandate at all. But you got Joe Biden coming at Governor Abbott's neck. But he didn't say nothing about DeSantis in Florida. He gonna point to Texas. Joe, that's dirty. I see what you did there. You ain't say nothing about nobody else. If it's really about saving lives and we're afraid of the gooch and want people to be safe and vaccinated, say that. Not call them cavemen, Neanderthal thinking. That's not what we want to hear. We need to hear from the nation's leader, right? But regardless of how we feel about mask, no mask, these states are moving forward. Does it change how you view visiting those states? Does it make you want to visit those states? Because people are making their post-COVID vacation plans, the bucket lists, right? The COVID bucket list, the gooch. Does it make you want to go to Texas? It make you want to go to California? Go to Disney with a mask on? Right? Florida? North Carolina? I never hear anybody say they're going to Alaska. Right? But still, will this increase tourism? Do you think that this is a move based upon the economy there? You can write your responses, your questions down in the live chat. Keep the conversation going. What do you think? You think it's a good move? Or will we be back at the epicenter of the gooch hype where we were a year ago? Grist.org and fitfathers.com. The FDA and chicken. We got to talk about it. So the FDA says that its own research shows that arsenic has been added to chicken feed and it ends up in chicken meat where it is consumed by humans. Yeah, you heard me right. The FDA is admitting this. So what does this mean? Well, for the last 60 years, American consumers who eat chicken, conventional chicken, have been swallowing arsenic, a known cancer-causing chemical. Now, until this new study, both the poultry industry and the FDA denied that arsenic is fed to chickens and that it ended up in their meat. So the excuse story, the fairy tale, the glossy story that they have told was that the arsenic is excreted in the chicken feces. But there is no specific basis for making such a claim. It's just what the poultry industry wanted everybody to believe. But now the evidence is so undeniable that the manufacturer of the chicken feed product known as Roxasone, has decided to pull the product off the shelves. Now, it's scary about this one because chicken is a part of most people. If you eat meat, it's a part of your diet. People pull back on the red meat because of gout, which gout, by the way, is also referred to as the king's disease. Did you know that? So you have gout, you may have diabetes, you may have other hypertension connected, and all those things point to red meat. So you pull back, but you increase fish, but then you have an issue with mercury, right? Or you go to chicken. And they're talking about chicken here, but I would think that all fowl, the birds, have some of whatever's going on with chicken. They have it too. Turkey, right? Now, this company that makes this Roxasone, right? This arsenic is called Alpharma LLC. That's the name of the manufacturer that makes the feed. Now, Alpharma is a subdivision of Pfizer, right? The vaccine company, the drug company. Now, even though Alpharma now has agreed to pull this toxic feed chemical off the shelves in the U.S., it says that it won't necessarily remove it from the feed and products in other countries unless it is forced by regulators to do so. Now, this is, again, scary when you talk about food. So you already had to worry about whether it's GMO or lab meat. Now it's arsenic. But it puts people in a weird space because I don't have, 30 acres to grow my own stuff. Do you? Not even 30. 2 acres to grow, to be self-sufficient, self-sustained. You can't do that in the city. Right now, we are subject to the whatever. And I don't see how to come out of it. We are very dependent on these corporations, on Big Brother, Uncle Sam, whatever, however. But it's true. It's true. Now, you may not be able to change it currently, but you can make more informed decisions. That's what this program is for, the subject matter. You make more informed decisions and you make the best out of the options that are in front of you. Now, I don't know what your diet is. I don't know if chicken is a major part of it. Maybe it ain't. Maybe that's just... But now that you know, maybe it'll help you to read the labels. You know, maybe to make you check out how many carbs, how much sugar, how much sodium is involved. It's not going to tell you how much arsenic or, whatever, but it'll help you make a better informed decision on what you put into your body. Just like we have grades of gasoline, octane, 93, right? Super. That's fuel for your vehicle. Well, food is fuel for your body. Be more mindful. FNXFit.com. All natural sleep aids, pre and post workout shakes. Try the recovery powder available in raspberry lemonade, grape limeade, snow cone, and watermelon burst. Use promo code Moonbeam for 15% off your order. Again, go to FNXFit.com. In 1803, one of the largest mass suicides of enslaved people took place. Only a subset of the 75 Igbo rebels drowned. 13 bodies were recovered. Others remain missing, making the actual numbers of the deaths uncertain. Governor Nomo fudging COVID deaths numbers and 3 accusers of sexual assault. Again, without evidence, a trial, or conviction, we shouldn't condemn the man. This is the result of not being checked enough. But in the meantime, hold this L. Clashing over the Equality Act, banning discrimination against the LGBTQ community. Options are connected, opinions are connected to entitlements. But there are only 2 genders. That's a whole fact. The Senate just approved $1.9 trillion stimulus package by a vote of 50 to 49. Still needs Congress next week. How much longer will the American people have to wait for relief? A Baltimore student passes 3 classes in 4 years and ranks near the top half of the class with a 0.13 grade point average. Everyone failed this young man, including himself. Glad that he is now on the path of completion in 2023. Masks are coming off, and Biden and the CDC disagree. Calling this decision Neanderthal thinking is low. Maybe 46 isn't so different from 45. The FDA admits that arsenic added to the chicken feed ends up in the chicken meat, where it is consumed by humans. The feed product Roxasone has been pulled from shelves. Can we really trust the FDA? Be sure to check out GMK_Young Bolo on Instagram and also at Chef Redfern on Instagram. I'm Jay Daniel. This has been Moonbeam Radio. I'll see you next week. Take care. Busy schedule? Timing issues? Don't know what to cook tonight? Holla at Chef Red. Services include meal prep, catering, personal chef duties, full-course meals, as well as alternative vegan options. Desserts are stellar. I recommend the banana pudding. Delivery is available for qualifying orders. Contact her on Instagram at Chef Redfern. Tell her Jay Daniel sent you.